Now, as a busy entrepreneur or business owner, it's very common for us to feel like we don't have enough time. And in particular, we don't have enough time to take care of ourselves. Don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to prepare healthy meals. I don't have time to get more sleep and so on. So we know we've got goals. I want a better body. I want to be fitter, leaner, stronger, healthier. I'd like to have less than 10% body fat and so on, because it will give me more confidence. I'll have more energy. I'll be able to do more in my business. I'll likely be more productive. I'll be clearer in my thought. I'll have more confidence and certainty within myself. We know what's available on the other side of achieving this body that we ideally want, but we just feel like we don't have the time for it. Now, the catch is many of us do have the time. It's just that we will refuse to prioritize health enough to make the time. So what's really going on is we've got this perspective issue. We've got this perspective where my business tasks and my family obligations and all these other things, the needs of my friends or my family and other people, those are more important than my own needs. So therefore, their needs they will go to the top of my priority list. My business needs go to the top of my priority list. But my own needs and my health needs will be at the bottom of my priority list. So therefore, I don't have time to do the things I'm not prioritizing. Whereas if they were at the top of our priority list and we genuinely had that feeling that these things are a priority, well, then we would follow through on them. But because we've got this perspective where, well, I am less important overall right now. I need to make sure I've got the money coming in the business and I'm serving my clients. Got to make sure I'm constantly generating new leads and sales and so on. I need to make sure that I'm earning enough money to keep a roof over my head and keep the bills paid and keep the lights on and all the rest of it. That becomes a major priority because, of course, as a man, we believe that's our role. My role is to protect and provide. And the way to do that is by earning well in my business. And that's fantastic. We need to do that. But the catch is we would actually earn better and perform better if we were taking care of ourselves as well. Because as I mentioned earlier, we'd have more confidence, more energy, more certainty. We'd be more effective and more productive. But because health is at the bottom of our priority list, haven't got time for that. Sorry, just things aren't going right now. And right now is just not the right time for me to focus on my health. I'll get round to it as soon as my business reaches X. But until then, I can't worry about my health too much. I'll do enough to just get by and hopefully stop things getting too much worse. But I don't have enough time to actually resolve the issues, to lose the excess weight, and to build a body that I actually feel confident and assertive in, rather than often feeling ashamed or even guilty for the body that we have sometimes. So we need to be careful. And what we need to ideally do is do the mindset work that's going to help us shift our perspective. Not to immediately make health the number one priority necessarily. Of course, that's ideal if we can. But we just need to alter our perspective so that we don't see health as something that gets in the way of our other priorities. Because if we can shift it and not feel like it's something that gets in the way of the lifestyle that we want to currently lead, well, then we're more likely to do the things. We're more likely to show up and go to the gym or to do an exercise routine at home or wherever we need to do it. We're more likely to opt for high quality foods rather than convenience foods. We're more likely to spend time doing meal prep if that's what we need to do, or getting our partner on board so that she can help out with that stuff. We're more likely to take time needed to fully rest and recover so that, one, we actually build the body we want, because that happens while we're resting, but also so that we actually can show up in our business full. Now, when I say full, I mean with the confidence, with the energy, with the certainty that's needed to take our business to the next level. For example, if we're only earning 6 figures and we want to push it to 7, that's going to be much easier if we have a body or a vessel that can actually help fuel that process. One that we feel confident enough in to show up and do the shit we know we need to do, but also one that gets the respect that we need and the admiration from the outside world and from our prospects and our clients and customers, so that they're more likely to recommend our services. So they're more likely to take us up on our service because, this is somebody that clearly demands respect. They clearly respect themselves. They show up and take care of themselves. So I know that I'll get taken care of too, because they're leading from a place of integrity rather than showing me one thing and trying to deliver me something else, and therefore making it less likely for them to want to recommend us on to other people. Now, of course, that's not always the case. Sometimes we're lucky enough. It doesn't matter how we look. People aren't necessarily unconsciously judging us in that way. And they love us for who we are, and they will recommend us regardless. But either way, if we can show up as the best version of us, which I know sounds like this sort of airy-fairy nothingness statement that we get sort of thrown around the industry. Oh, be the best version of yourself. But ultimately, that is what we actually want to be. When I'm in this body that's overweight, weak, tired, lethargic, and stiff and achy, it's very difficult for me to show up as my best. It's very difficult for me to truly prioritize anything else because I'm not showing up as the best of me. So how can I give it the best of me and therefore really be prioritizing it? I might be doing the best I can with what I have, but it's not really a priority because I've not managed to show up as the best version of me. Whereas if I do take care of me first, and now I show up full of abundance of energy, full of confidence, full of certainty, and so on, and obviously in a body that allows me to feel fucking bulletproof, well, that's going to allow me to serve these things at a higher level and truly make them a priority. Now, of course, that priority is ideally just underneath us, but of course, that takes a little bit of time to have that perspective shift where we see that, oh, actually, everything else in my life is better and is served better by me by making sure that I show up as the best that I can be, by making sure that my needs and my health is taken care of so that I have a body that I'm proud of, so that I have a body that I can rely on and that I know is capable. Once we've got that level dialed in, well, then it's much easier for us to then give our excess or our abundance to these other things without them tearing us down or feeling like we're constantly having to sacrifice for things or literally just take from ourselves and continue to drain us more and more in order to make sure that everything else is working well and everybody thinks you're okay because you put on this brave face and pretend like all's well. But really underneath the surface, you know that things are starting to break and you're feeling the pressure, but you're not feeling like you're confident enough or you don't really feel like you have the power to reveal that, to say, oh, you know what, I actually need to take something for myself right now because I'm at this place where I just feel like I'm being drained all the time. And it can be hard for us, particularly as men, to admit that to ourselves, to be like, well, you know what? Yes, I know I need to do all these other things and they are a priority, but I also need to take at least something for myself so that I can make sure that I can show up as the best of me and not feeling like I'm constantly having to sacrifice me in order for these things to thrive and to survive and to be at their best, whilst I'm kind of half-assed, lackluster, and showing up as this version that's getting the job done, but not really thriving from it, not really enjoying it in the ways that I could, because it feels like it's draining me rather than helping me gain. So my question for you guys is this. Where in your life right now do you know that you've got some priorities that maybe need a little shift in perspective, both, of course, in health, like where can you shift that, knock that up a few levels so that you can make you more of a priority? How will working on your health and making sure that you've actually got the body you want and that you're showing up, taking care of yourself, how can that help you elevate those other areas that you already see or perceive as a priority? Because the truth is, these things can only get better as a result of you taking care of you. It's very rare, if ever, that things get worse. Now, of course, if you completely ignore those things and only focus on you, well, that's going to be a problem. So we need to make sure these things are being taken care of. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves too, so that we can elevate all of life at the same time and not just everything except for ourselves. So that's what I'll leave you guys with today. If you have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments below. And if not, I look forward to chatting with you all in my next video. Take it easy, people.